Now what we have here is a clamped plate, just like the one I showed you before, but unlike that one where I was driving it from the edge, this one is driven by a little speaker underneath, and what that does is it oscillates up and down. So rather than the centre being fixed, this time the centre's going up and down, and that drives it. Now we've looked at what happens when we drive at different frequencies, but what I'm looking at today is resonance, and that's the idea that as you get so closer towards something's resonant frequency, for the same amount of force you put in, you get a much larger response. Now hopefully you're familiar with this from swings. If you've ever pushed someone on a swing, you know that if you just start going too fast, they don't move very much. If you go too slow, they equally don't move very much. But if you get the frequency of your pushes just right, then they get higher and higher, and if you're really good, eventually whiz all the way around. And it's the same thing with your legs as well. In this case, we're doing it with our metal plate, and so what I'll do is I'll start off at a frequency that's too high, and then I'll move it down, and we'll see that as I get close to that resonant frequency, we go from a little bit of motion of our sand on top, which shows how much the sheet of metal is moving, to a huge amount when we hit the resonant frequency. And I'm not changing the voltage at all, which drives the amplitude. The amplitude is the same throughout. The only thing I'll be changing is the frequency. So we start off a little too high. I bring it down. A little bit of motion, and then a lot more. And then when I hit the resonant, you can see it suddenly goes crazy. And through the other side, we suddenly get a lot less motion again because it's no longer resonating. Back up, see a huge amount again. Turn it all the way down, then we see that there's not very much at all. So again, like I say, this is just how swings work, how musical instruments that resonate nicely at the sort of pitches that they're playing at work. It's the soundboards in them designed to resonate at the frequencies appropriate for that particular instrument's usual playing range. And it's also negative things like the Tacoma Narrows Bridge and the Millennium Bridge in Britain also oscillated too much because the resonant frequency was similar to that of either the wind blowing down the canyon in the case of Tacoma Narrows, or people walking over it in the case of Millennium Bridge, which is very bad for a pedestrian bridge. It's fixed now though and perfectly safe to walk on.